Good evening, everyone, and thanks for coming in. We hope you're all safe and well. And if you're in Scotland, we hope you're enjoying our wee heat wave. We're having this great sunburn and everything. You can't beat it. But tonight we have Laura with us, but we are joined by an amazing lady, a very busy lady, Taryn Kerper. I hope I pronounced that properly.
Doing good. You're doing good.
Yeah, I'm okay. Just 30 seconds in and I've got it right. That's good. From Paranormal, actually there's a big list of what Taryn does. You know, Paranormal Brew, Haunted New Jersey, the Unrestricted Paranormal these. So,
Oh, bless you.
BB3 TV and the Paranormal Organisation and Research Network. Hi, Facebook user. Thanks for coming in. So we're a wee bit earlier than usual, but you know, that doesn't matter.
That was my fault. It's not Paranormal and History's fault. That was my fault. You know, we've had this plan for a while, and I was in Gettysburg this past weekend, and Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and that's my zen. And I totally, my boss messaged me and said, "Hey, can you work the afternoon Monday?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Scott also was like, "Are we good for Monday or the 11th?" I'm like, "Yeah." Not putting two and two together that the 11th is Monday and Monday afternoon, you know. So this is my fault, but I appreciate everybody for being here early.
It's not a problem though. See, we got this. We arranged it quite a wee while ago. But the main point is we're here. You're happy with the time, so are we, and you know, people have joined us as well. So it's all good. So I don't know where to start with you. See, I'm not going to give you a big interrogation, but you're quite a busy lady.
Thank you. I guess I could just say, you know, I got into the field a little late. I'm not like, you know, grew up in a haunted house and this and that, you know, so I wanted nothing to do with the paranormal stuff prior to, you know, I don't know, 15 years ago, I would say. So it's been about 15. Hello, you guys. I think you guys have to, I don't know how, what do they have to allow their name to be seen or something? So I don't know who that is, but hello.
If there should be on the notification on our page, it would say grant StreamYard permission.
Yeah.
There, and then your name will come up. I think that's how. I'm not very good with tech and Facebook and everything. I think that's how it's done.
I'm not either. I'm not good techie wise. Yeah, so I kind of got into it. I went to Gettysburg for the first time, and I had an experience there, and you know, after that, I was like, you know what, that wasn't that bad. I want to learn more about this, you know, and I had a very significant loss prior to that, maybe 6-7 years prior with my father. You know, we were best friends, and it was a traumatic event, you know, and I guess I kind of was looking for after I realized it wasn't that bad, you know, I said, you know, I was kind of looking for answers with that as well. You know, because I had, you know, medium friends and stuff like that. They were like, "Oh, your dad's coming to me. Your dad said this. Your dad's doing this," and I'm like, you know, I need to know how legit this is. I can't, you know, I can't, especially with something like that. I didn't want to believe that my father was able to communicate or was able to do things like that if these people were not being on it. You know what I mean? Like if it was impossible, or, you know, I have learned now 15 years later that anything is possible in this universe. So
you had to find out, you know, usually you know these people coming to you with different bits and pieces, but you had to find out for yourself, you know.
Absolutely.
If it's not true.
Yeah, and you know, I joined a group after that, and I had 3 months of intense training. We had classroom training, we had preternatural training, on the field training. We took written tests and field tests, and 3 months later, I'm an investigator. And you know, I was a part of that for 5 to 6 years. Wound up becoming a co-director of the group, and then, you know, the drama and the politics within some groups, you know, just ain't for me. It's just not me. I have enough going on in my and outside of that was just something added that it was starting to take over everything, and so I backed off. And for a little bit, I really didn't do much, and then the newer shows started coming out. And this is no disrespect. I have a lot of friends that are on the shows. I'm not dissing the shows by any means. However, there were shows that came out that were making it like everything was a demon, everything's negative. And there were more private cases coming after that because everybody was thinking they had a demon in their house because they're seeing what they see on TV. So I said, one, we have some of the best combos just sitting around talking, about paranormal. You could go on for hours just talking about it with like-minded people. I mean, people could talk about it for hours. And
Yeah.
two, I wanted to educate people that, look, I have guests on every week, and they have all said 99% of the time there's nothing demonic out there. Yes, does it exist? It does, but it's not as prevalent as the shows make it out to be. And that's what I want the people to see, that are watching. So I used to, in the beginning of the show, it used to be like when I first started, it was a mess. I look back now and I'm like, God, I hope nobody goes back and watches my shows from 2017 because they were a mess. They were all over the place, and there was no time limit. There was no, it was all over. And but it started out with just like ghosty stuff, and as I started to get into it, I'm like, there's so much more to this paranormal umbrella. There's cryptids and UFOs, and there's elementals, and there's this and that. There's so many different things that people research and investigate, and I want to learn. Not that it doesn't necessarily mean that I believe or I don't believe in one thing or the next. It doesn't matter what I believe in. I want to learn. So if you were, if you were a UFO researcher, I would want to know what you do. Like how you research, what you research with, what do who you work with and stuff like that. I love to learn. So
You see, that's it. Tara, you and our channel are so much alike. I mean, Sarah and I used to be, Sarah's our co-founder as well as me. Sarah and I used to be in a group a couple of years ago. I was an American, I'm not dissing American, we've got an American team as well. It was an American-based group, and every day, obviously, we were in the kind of chat because we were admin, and every day you woke up, there was some new kind of drama. Every Sunday, it wasn't every week, it was every day. And so, we thought, enough's enough, we're out it. But there's a lot of drama, a lot of people turn into a competition, they need to get a better capture than, if you get one EVP, you've got a team coming in saying we get three. It's in politics, and you can't do this, you can't do that. I mean, we're Scottish, as you can tell. We're just kind of laid back. We don't do the drama, the politics. We're not interested in that because that's not what paranormal's about.
Nope. And it clouds what you really are doing. You're more focused on all this instead of focusing on helping clients or helping private homes or doing good for the field, because you're so wrapped up in all this other crap. That's crap. It really is crap. When you're in it for the same reason, when we all, at the end of the day, we all want to get the same thing out of it, like what is there to argue about, or what is there to, like, who's to say I'm a better investigator than you are? You just have different techniques, like why, like it's just unnecessary, so I'm happy being an independent. I'm an independent investigator. I'm not a part of a group. I help out with events, like if Fort Mifflin in Philadelphia has an event, like a paranormal event, the caretaker calls me up and says, hey, I need an extra help with taking some groups on tours. Will you come help out? Absolutely. I help out Penhurst, Penhurst Asylum, during October season, the Halloween season, and, when they have public ghost hunts, if they need help, they reach out, I help out, and same thing there's another place, Selma Mansion, for historical, this is all like, historical preservation and ghost hunts and stuff like that. But I'll help them out, like if they need help. And then if I have a private case come my way, I have people that I've worked with along the years that I trust 100%. And if it's something that's out of my scope of what I do, of my investigating, meaning I don't deal with anything negative. I don't. I'm Casper only. Casper. Give me your friends, your family. The people that live that. They still think it's their house because that's where they live. I'll take that all day long. But as far as anything negative, I have people that I trust and know that they're going to handle clients the right way. That I will reach out to and hand that off to them. If I have to go on an investigation, I have people that I call to that will help me and go on an investigation with me that I trust. So it's good to have that networking.
Networking is a fantastic thing. I mean, people came to me with questions and stuff, and if I don't know the answer, I'll just tell them I don't know, but I will pass it on to somebody who might know. I know there are people out there that will just give them a load of BS. They'll ask my question, they'll give them a total BS answer. But at the end of the day, none of us are experts. There's no such thing. If you don't know the answer to a question or whatever, or you're not sure about an investigation, then ask somebody. There's
Absolutely.
It's how we learn. We can all Google till we grow hair again, basically. But as you say, networking, we've met a lot of fantastic people, yourself included, obviously, but just doing these shows.
Nice mutual.
Thank you. We're just doing these lives, and I know that I can pick it. If somebody comes to me about something demonic, we don't do demonic. We don't know very much about it, so we don't do it. But I can say, well, I don't know anything about it, but I can mail. So I'll not give them the person's name. I'll mail the person first and say, right, so and so's got an issue here. What do you think? And then I'll let them decide whether they want to get involved or not. So they just throw in, we'll go to him. I'll go to the person first and just give them a wee insight first before it goes any further. But I was like, you saying you hope nobody watches your first shows for 2017. We were the exact same.
Awesome. That's great.
Our first live, I was sitting in the bedroom with I was on my mobile phone, and it wasn't until I watched it back that I realised the angle I was holding my phone at. People spent most of the time looking up my nose.
I know, it's really, you know what? I can't even. I totally feel you on that. I was going back and I'm looking and I'm like, oh my gosh! Like in the beginning of my videos, I would my face would be all big and going in this, and I'm like, ooh, being stupid. I'm like, how did anybody watch this? How did anybody listen to this? It happened because I kept going. If nobody was watching or listening, I probably wouldn't have, but I kept going and people kept coming on. You know what I mean? So, and I tweaked it and I learned. And then, I had people that came into my life, some have come and gone, but some people came into my life, networking wise, that helped me to tweak things and helped me to understand okay, this is, maybe you should try it this way and do it this way, which I'm very grateful for,
Mm-hmm.
But we never stop learning and we never stop, changing, evolving. So, I look forward to what Paranormal Brew can be, so I'm hoping that it continues.
You do keep going. Our shows were a mess at first. I'd say the first maybe dozen or so shows were just, you just want to forget it. But like you, Taryn, people, friends past and present would say, right, well, why don't you try doing it this way? I know a lot of people don't like getting advice. They don't like, they call it criticizing me, etc. But people would come to me. I mean, one big thing I was bad for when I first started investigating, I would ask a question and then I would ask another question straight over, and it'd be and somebody came in and says, "Listen, why leave a gap about 15, 20 seconds between each question, because you have to give spirit time to respond, basically. And it's something I'd never thought of. So that's what I started doing. And I got on a lot, we got on a lot better doing it that way. It's just one little thing, but it made a difference.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'll try to explain this as best as I can without putting too many words into it, because I feel like it gets confusing. But I was at an investigation and there was 12 of us. We were all in the main room together. And I like to leave my recorders going the entire time, the entire investigation. Now, a lot of people I investigate with do EVP bursts, where they'll ask questions for 2 minutes and then they go back and they listen to it. So this night we did an EVP session. It lasted a little longer than 2 minutes. It was probably about 3 to 5 minutes maybe. So one of the questions was, one of the people, we went around the room. So each of us got to ask a question. One of the questions that was asked by Lourdes Gonzalez, her name is, she was asking, what is the family business? What was your family business? We know the answer to this, knowing some of the history. And we didn't hear anything at the time. Now, I can sometimes be clairaudient. Sometimes I can hear responses, not all the time, sometimes. So nothing was heard originally. We went back to listen. That question came up. There was nothing on the recorder the first time. Now, mind you, my recorder's still recording all of this. So my recorder's recording us listening back to our EVP burst. And now after that, we were hearing stuff. So Lourdes would rewind to so we could listen to what we just heard, but it would go back to before that question. What was the family business every time? The first time we went back, there was nothing on the recorder, nothing. Then the second time she rewound it, you hear on my recorder, factory work. There was an answer. We listened to it 3 more times after that. You don't hear it. I was live on Facebook and YouTube. I went to both. It's not on there. So this answer was picked up after the 4th time the question was asked, right? And it was only picked up on my recorder that was going. Like, it wasn't picked up anywhere else. And if it was anybody in the room, that would have been picked up somewhere on something, So I totally get that. And for me now, I'm like, wow, okay. Like, maybe I should start asking a question and asking it 3 or 4 times, giving time for the answer. I mean, that to me was remarkable. That's probably, and that was like in February. That's probably been one of the most unexplainable things that I have gotten on, to be able to say, here's all these other factors too. Like, it's not live. It wasn't caught on my live video. It wasn't caught on my live YouTube. It wasn't caught on anybody else's recorders. It was, you don't hear it every time. You just hear it that one time. I would love for somebody to be able to explain that to me.
Similar happened to us with a photo.
Something similar happened to us. It's a local kirkyard here. Kirkyard is a Scottish name for a churchyard. It's an old Scottish name for church. We went one night, we're investigating, we're taking, photographs. We're great ones for taking photographs. And somebody took a photograph and there was a headstone in the shape of an old Celtic cross. And you can see there was, many it was 6 or 7.
Oh, maybe 7 or 8. Good number of people there.
There was a few, and we all looked at this, and everybody saw this young girl, maybe about 12 years old, blonde hair, kind of white dress kind of thing. Everybody seen it, and then we looked back at the photo, and she was gone.
Just not there.
Wow, that's cool.
And as you say yourself, when you look at every possible, avenue, etc., and you can't explain it, you think, well, explain that to me. We all seen it,
Right.
And we all commented at the same time. There's a wee girl, and then we can't explain how she disappeared.
Right. And you know, the other thing too is for me, something like that, and the personal experiences I have during an investigation, with people, by myself, you know, rarely am I by myself. For me, I would always like one person with me. I know some people will go off by themselves and do stuff, which if that's your thing, that's your thing. You know, for me, I would prefer to have someone with me just in case, you know, because you never know. And you know, for me, I'm not really looking to prove anything to anybody, but I also am not one of those people that believes everything is paranormal just because I hear noise or I hear this or I hear that. I don't believe that. So I do look for the opinion sometimes of people. You know, I have one of my closest friends is a huge skeptic. He writes for Skeptical Inquirer. You know, he's really great. I go to him with a lot of stuff, you know, to get his take on it because integrity means a lot to me. Integrity and credibility. So I don't want to put anything out there that possibly or could be explained or is not. So if I have a doubt, I usually don't even go there. You know, I don't even put it out there. But then there's some things where, you know, I could go to Kenny and say, Kenny, explain this to me. And if he could explain it, I still would believe it was paranormal because I was there. I was in the moment. I know what happened. I felt it. We didn't hear it. We heard it here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like all these other things, you know, 90% of this is what we believe in, our spiritual beliefs, what we, you know, because it's about perception as well. You know, it's how we're perceiving things and it's how we feel in our hearts. And a lot of people get into this because they've lost loved ones or they've grew up in a haunted house. And, you know, to be so harsh and clash to somebody that, you know, may think they have, you know, a picture or, you know, a voice, or they may have had an experience, to kind of like just poo-poo that away, if you will, and say, you know, you're full of BS. You know, I think it's wrong because you have to understand some of these people are doing this because, you know, they need to know that their loved ones are there or whatever the case may be.
They need that bit of reassurance. But I totally agree. You know, not you can have photographs, you can have audio, but you know, sometimes you'll go and you'll not get any audio, video, whatever, but you will feel something. It's happened to me, you know, you know that somebody's standing beside you, or somebody's, you know, you can feel, but you can't say to everybody, look, there's somebody standing beside me, because, you know, some people might just say, you're full of it.
Yeah.
And
some of the best paranormal experiences that I have had were not caught on anything. You know, like some of the most unexplained things that have happened, I didn't get on a photograph or I didn't get on audio because it happened. It just happened. You know, they don't act on cue. You know, you're not like, okay, showtime, let's go, guys. You know, and they all come out and start talking. You know, you never know. I'm sorry, Laura, I didn't mean to cut you off. You were about to say something.
Oh, you're absolutely fine. I was just thinking that the cut card that we were speaking about earlier, we were taking photos of the little girl. From the first moment we went into that, I always had this feeling of being watched by a very old man in a hat, and I could never ever explain it. And that's happened 2 or 3 times now, Scott.
Aye.
And we've recently started sort of put the pieces of puzzles together about the family or a family that's in that cut card, and it could be him that I keep seeing. I don't know why, but I think it's protective. To be fair.
See, at least you're getting a good protective feeling about it. You know, I mean, have you tried to say out loud, like, "Hey, I know you're here." Like, you know what, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've done that. We invested this place a few times. One time it's like a square fenced off area, and it's a family plot. And there's a huge kind of headstone. I stood inside it. When you stand inside, you get a totally different feeling. But one time I was there, I was standing up the back of it, the back end, and I got a strong feeling that somebody was on the other side of the fence, standing right beside me. And I said to, you know, one of the other guys, I said, I could feel it was fact, it was Kat and William for Paranormal Exposures, who are in Idaho. I want to say Idaho or Ohio. She'll
Ohio.
if I get it wrong. I think it's Idaho. I'll always get mixed up. They were over on holiday, and I says to Kat, I says, I'm getting a mail, and he's standing right there. She says, I can agree with you, there is something. So it happened a couple of weeks later, we went and we had the necrophonic on, and we were asking for, names and stuff, and the name, was it Clarissa? Came through.
No, Christina.
Christina. Through Christina, and we looked at the headstone, and there was a Christina.
Interesting.
On the headstone.
Mother and daughter.
So,
go ahead.
I asked who the male was. It says, who's the male that's here? And at the top of the headstone, it says James. It's James Dempster. And I says, is it James that's here? If it's James that's here, make I call it a black box. I don't call it a device. I call it a box. Make that black box go to yellow. If it's James, it's a male. And it went to yellow. And I says, just confirm for me that your name is James. Make that box go to yellow again for me. And again, it went straight to yellow. I say, so do you watch here? And then I says, that lady, is she the mother, or is she the grandmother, or the family? So it's wee bits and pieces. So we're kind of putting it, we're not saying it's 100%, but what we've gathered is it's James who's the kind of head of the family, and he's watching, and this lady's here as well. Keep it, because there's children there buried there as well. Yeah. So we're kind of thinking maybe they're, watching over the kids kind of thing. See, it's not 100%, in black and white. But you know yourself, it's wee bits and pieces that you get.
But I don't think any of this can be black and white. Like none of what we do is black and white, and none of it is, it's like I went to Rolling Hills Asylum one year, and we had a big group out there, and I had a patron with me, and she was, walking around with me, and one of the rooms had a bunch of those aluminum folding chairs just stacked up and stuff. So we were hearing like as if somebody was walking around and just tink, tink, like touching them and flicking them. Like it sounded like, so I'm like, we're standing right outside the room. You couldn't go in because it was just, there's so much stuff in there,
Mm-hmm.
Or else I would have. But we were standing right outside the room, and I listened for a good 5 minutes because I wasn't sure what I was hearing. I didn't know if it was, and it was hard to get in there. I had my flashlight. I was looking around. I didn't see anything. Nothing was moving. No windows open. I'm trying to go through everything as to possibly what could it be. No dripping, no water. So I said to her, I said, you have to, and I was trying to tell her, like, look, this is, you have to go through everything in your head. What could this possibly be? Look at this, and we're going over it. And then there was this big ting, like this really big one. And I was like, now that was different than the ones we were hearing, And I looked at her and I said, you heard that, right? And she's like, yeah. And then on my side of my face, I could feel what would be, I guess, what we would know as it to be what would feel like a breath.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a goofy laugh. It was like, ho, 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 And I looked at her and I was like, and tell me you heard that. She's like, I heard that. I was like, okay. I was like, I'm not crazy. I heard that. I said, I felt it and I heard it. And she's like, I think I want to leave. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, it's not bad. I said, the feeling I was getting was that he was just messing around, You have to remember the places that you go to. I mean, it was they call it an asylum, but here in the States, the asylums were built back in the 60s and 70s and 80s where people could basically just drop their kids off if they didn't know what was wrong with them. They would just drop them off at these places. And husbands could drop their wives off just I mean, we know more about postpartum depression now, but if a woman was going through postpartum depression back then, the husbands are like, yeah, no questions asked, drop them off. There you go. So you had people in there that were either in there from when they were born. You know, if a mother just didn't want, they could just drop these babies off, and they were understaffed. They, you know, so there were a lot of things that happened in these places. So you got to remember the mentality of some of what would be maybe some of the spirits that are there. That was their only home. It's not that they were stuck, but that's all they know.
Mhm.
You know, this is all they know. So that's why they're there, you know, and, you know, because sometimes you get a little backlash from people who want to judge and say, well, why do you go to these places? And, you know, you're exploiting these spirits and these, and then, no, we're not. We're giving them somebody to talk to.
Tell them the story.
We're acknowledging them. We're being very respectful, but you know, this is all they know. It's not that they're stuck, and it's not that they're, you know, but this is all they know, you know, and in my opinion, I made the guy laugh. Right? He was having fun.
You know, I've said on many a show that, you know, the only difference between us and spirit is they don't have a physical body. They're still people, you know. They are still people without the, and you know, if you're standing about all day, nobody's talking to you. You know, I may say, I mean, I'm not an expert. Again, it's no black and white, but do the spirits get lonely? They get sad, you know. And if somebody's coming to see them, and just give them the time of day, as we say over, I don't know if you use that saying in America, no, to give them the time of day, you know, even 5 minutes to just say, you know, I'm here if you want to talk to me, you know. And if you keep giving back, it can build up that rapport and the trust. Like that's Laura's husband. Actually, he's late.
Yes.
He knows what time you were live at. That's a, you know, have a word later. But I think it's really important to build up trust with spirit. I mean, you know, quick story. I've told this before, but we were investigating a power station near us, and we'd been up the stairs, and we decided to come down the stairs and go to the rear of the building. But we stopped in the staircase to have a cigarette before we, you know, started again. And I put the K2 meter on the stair because we'd had a wee bit of activity on previous visits there, so I put the K2 meter down. And just sort of sheer chance, you know, I says, you know, if there's a spirit here and they want a cigarette, make that box go to yellow. And the box went to yellow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I said, well, do that again if you want a cigarette. And again, it went to yellow. So I put a cigarette down on the steps. I says, right, you know, I'm going to leave this for you. I'll leave it there. I say, if you're going to say thank you, make the box go to yellow. Mm-hmm. And it went to yellow. So I call it the smoking ghost. You know, I don't know what else to call it. And a couple of people says to me, did you leave the cigarette? I said, no, I left it. I said, why did you leave it? I says, I know the spirit can't smoke, but if I go back there again, if that spirit's there, he might think, well, there a minute, I remember this guy. He left me a cigarette and he didn't take it away. So I'm going to talk to him.
Yeah.
Where if I took it away, you know, well, he left me a cigarette, but then he took it back. So I don't want to talk to him.
Well, it could almost be seen as teasing.
It could be seen as teasing, or, you know, so it's about building that level of trust with them, because I think they do remember you. The more you get back, they get to know, you know, your face, your voice, you know.
Absolutely. And even, I hate to use the word energy, but like, for lack of better description, I'll say even energy. I mean, I you know, for New Year's Eve, I stay at the same bed and breakfast every year in Gettysburg. And the more I go, the more the activity in the place is stronger. And whether it's stronger or just more comfortable with me, you know, we'll never know, right? But, you know, it started out with just, it sounded like bare feet running across the floor, you know, and to when, you know, jump up a couple years later, you know, the basement door is opening, and this is an old inn, you know, it was built in the early 1800s, not as old as anything you guys have over there, but it's built in the 1800s, and they have the old doors, and nothing's, you know, the preservation in Gettysburg is immaculate. So, you hear the clinking, the clanking, and the unhatching, and then you hear the door flying open, and that activity just keeps getting more and more. So I agree with you. I think the more times you go somewhere and they see that you're there just to have a chat, and say hi and give them a conversation or attention, that helps.
I think I'm of the state of mind that at the end of the day, all spirit wants is to be noticed. For excuse me, for them to say, hi, I'm still here, even though you can't see me, I'm still kicking about. And if you've got somebody keeps coming back and saying, how's your? I mean, my old house was haunted. I had a spirit there, and it used to do quite a few things. One night I lost the plot of it because I was watching a film and the lid of the kitchen bin flew off, and I'm trying to watch this film, but you just stopped and stuff stopped. But then after that, I found myself every day when I went to work, I would say, right, I'm going to work. I'll see you when I come home. And when I came out to work, I would say, hiya, and I would tell them about my day. Now, anybody would have thought I was crazy. I was going home talking to myself, But I was in the frame of mind, well, if this spirit's hanging about here all day and I come in for work, tell me about your day.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it can kind of cheer them up, basically. I know, as you say, a lot of people might think we're nuts. Over here, a lot of people do think we're crazy because we go and sit in graveyards or, wherever.
Oh, yeah. People think we're nuts anyway, just because of what we do. So talking to yourself is not a bad thing. even if you're not and they think you are, whatever, who cares? The people that think you're crazy, maybe they'll leave you alone because you don't want them anyway.
The case of kind of go away. So the Paranormal Brew and the Haunted New Jersey. So you tell us a bit about them.
So Paranormal Brew is my baby. I'm the owner of Paranormal Brew. Like I said, I've been doing it since 2017. And I enjoy it. It's like you said, doing these these podcasts and these live interviews and stuff like that. You really get to network and meet people and learn. And I have been very fortunate and grateful and thankful that all but about 2 of my guests have been awesome in all those years. You're going to have people, I've learned you're going to have people on that, aren't exactly what you think they are. But with that being said, I've also had people on like Jason Halls from Ghost Hunters. I've had, Brandon Alvis on from Ghost Nation. And I had, I'm sorry, I said that the other way. But, when Ghost Hunters came out, Brandon Alvis and Grant was all, doing that. Brandon on, and I've had Jason Halls on. I've had Sherry D. Benedetti on. I've Dustin Parry. Last week I had Barry Fitzgerald on. He is Ghost Hunters International. He is, amazing. And I've been, and I'm so thankful and grateful for all of that, because that's who the people are watching on TV, and then they're coming on my show and saying, listen, that's entertainment, and, it's not that to have something negative, and for people to hear that, that's what I've wanted, like explain, that for them to explain, their research and their beliefs and their, and this and that. So Paranormal Brew is definitely something that is people say, it's a hobby. I say it's not a hobby. It's a part. It's a life. It's a part of my life. Like it's a passion for me. It goes way beyond a hobby. A hobby is, and I don't mean this disrespectfully to anybody because some people make money off of this, but quilting when you have downtime on a Sunday, like a hobby is like, but this is work. This is hard work. You're constantly, you guys know, you're constantly, trying to get guests on and setting up, and you have to promote and you have to do all this stuff. And it's a job, but it's a job I wish I could only have the only job I could have and get paid for it because I don't get paid for it. So, but I love it. Haunted New Jersey is my best friend. One of my best friends. Her name's April Brissette. She's the psychic housewife of New Jersey. She's been on Travel Channel, holds her files and stuff like that. She started Haunted New Jersey. She's from New Jersey, like me. She's from up a little bit more north. But I'm the admin of her page, so I kind of like that. So that's her thing. But I am the admin on there, and I do enjoy it because I'm not a big fan of New Jersey. But if it has something to do with paranormal stuff, I go, that's a page that we can share to. It's like, haunted New Jersey. Here's all the cool stuff in New Jersey, haunted wise. So that's cool. BB3 TV, I'm part owner of. It's a streaming network. So Paranormal Brew is just my thing and my show. I allow people that stream on BB3 TV to stream on Paranormal Brew. But other than that, Paranormal Brew is not a streaming network, whereas BB3 TV is. So, and BB3 TV isn't limited to the paranormal stuff. Like we have people that play piano and will go live and play a song on the piano, or we have people that garden. We have people that will go on there. There are paranormal shows on there, but and we have a April Busette. She's on there. She does free readings every Tuesday and for an hour, and stuff like that. So it's a great channel, but it's just not limited to paranormal,
Right.
Yeah. So there's two other owners, Tom Nallian and Dominic Santasero. So, the three of us run that, which that's a job in its own self. I mean, it's a lot of work. Doing a paranormal show is one thing, but then trying to run a network and streaming network and keeping everything and dealing with a million different personalities, and trying to keep everybody kind of, I mean, it's hard. That's hard too,
I totally get that. As as you were saying, with Paranormal Brew, is getting guests and keeping in touch with them and arranging shows and stuff. And it is a job, but we know you pay for it as well. But we love doing it. We love.
Oh, I love it.
There's so many people, and I mean, we're from a small town in the west coast of Scotland. We're nothing special. We're not, just normal people. And as you see, I watched a few of your shows, and you've had some, big guys on it, big names on it. Sorry, and I was talking to. We've had Matt Barron on a few times, the paranormal consultant, and it was on one night we were talking, and he was saying, who would think that just guys like us would be talking to, like, say, maybe Patty Negri, TV shows, Haunted State, Not Ghosts for Canada, and stuff like that. And you say, that's the thing about what we do. You meet that many people, and everybody's down to earth.
Yeah.
Nobody's, don't get me, having a couple of guests on that you think, oops, that was a mistake,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's, you don't know. And I learned a lesson from that, because most of my guests that I have on, I either know them or they're referred to me by somebody that I trust and know, and then I reach out to them, and I've learned that I have to research people, and make sure they're legit and they have the credentials that they're saying. And now when I say that, this was not just your everyday paranormal investigator. It was somebody claiming to have a degree in forensic psychology, have worked with the police for 35 years, helping find missing people. There were all these credentials, and I just took his word for it. And halfway through my interview, things just didn't feel right. I said, this is just not right. Like, well, there's something off, and then led me down a rabbit hole of 4 months of researching and looking. And my friend Kenny Biddle, he helped me out. And we exposed him. I mean, I gave him the opportunity. I will give you the opportunity, to prove me wrong. Show me a certificate. Show me something. Show me. I want to be wrong. I don't want, I said, and if you're wrong, then let people know, look, I messed up, this is why, and I want to fix it, or just disappear, go away. Stop
Yeah.
going on podcasts, stop lying, and stop, giving people false. I was like, or I'm just going to expose you.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
let everybody know, because you're going on my friends' podcast. You're going on them, and people are watching these, and there are families reaching out to you because of your credentials for help, and you don't have any of those credentials. And that's not, and then what are they going to do? The families are going to come back to us and say, well, I trusted you. I watched them on your show, and I didn't want that.
Because there's a lot. I mean, I get, I get a guest for kind of everywhere, Facebook or watch or podcasts and, a word of mouth kind of thing, but yourself, Kathy, there's loads of places, but, you do as much as you want, as much a variety on your show as possible. You do have to have that wee bit of caution, It's happened to me a couple of times. I've lined up 2 or 3 guests, and then somebody's maybe mailed me and says, check this out, and you go and look at it. There's one surprise me. I'm not going to name them, but I went and looked. I thought, no, that's a big no.
Yeah, and even with that, you have to be careful. You got to think like, okay, what's that person's agenda? Like, did they get in a fight and now they're trying to badmouth this person? Like, you have to be careful. Like, I mean, of course, you probably trusted the person, know the person that said, hey, this person you're having on is, no good. But everybody has an opinion, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, I'm surprised somebody didn't message you and say, why are you having me on? Because I'm sure there's people out there that I've pissed off or they don't like me for some reason, and, but it's, we're human, right? I mean, people are going to they're going to have agendas. They're going to have, reasons, motivations why they do and then don't do things, and you just doing what we do, we just have to protect our integrity and credibility as much as we can, as well as the people that watch your show. I mean, they watch your show because, they trust it. They trust you're going to have good people on. They trust that, so you're kind of like, that's what people don't understand, how much of a job it is to have a show. It's not just like you sit down and, hey, we're on air, it's.
I think what people don't understand is I'm kind of like the chief researcher with a lot of our stories and whatnot, and it annoys me. It really annoys me because I can take days, absolutely. I work as well. I've got a family.
Absolutely.
Absolute days to get a story together, put it on a page, and then you see other teams, for example, and they just literally copy from Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Because it's easier for them just to copy, paste, bang, put it on the page, job done. You will get people who will read it and say, oh, well, that must all be true, because it is. But
I think the YouTube stuff, like, because like I haven't watched them, but I know that there's a lot of people that do YouTube videos and they fake evidence and they try to I really think as with everything, when money's into play, people's agendas can change, and they will do things to get those likes, to get those views, to get the money. Yeah. And when your focus changes from, I want to help people, I want to help historic buildings, I want to do research for the field because I want us to keep going and I don't want us to be stagnant. I want to be able to research and learn and educate, when that shifts to, I want to make money. And don't get me wrong, I have friends that are mediums and that's how they make their living. By all means, I support that 1000%. I'm talking about on an investigative side of things, where, and then that's where it's geared towards the money. It's like that's where your credibility and integrity go out the window because you're not focused on, you're just worried about how am I going to make this look really cool where I'm going to get 1 million views and YouTube's going to pay me.
Exactly, and that's when it's time to kind of hang up your hat, as the saying goes. I mean, I've watched some channels. Thanks, God, is very interesting. Thanks a lot.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Facebook user. I think that's Vaughn. I think so. If it's not Vaughn, I do apologise.
I think it is. I feel like she said that up early, which I meant to say hello to her because I said I didn't know who it was, and she said it's Vaughn. So yeah, I appreciate she's been commenting.
It's Vaughn Hunter. She runs Matrix Paranormal. Give her a wee look up.
What is it? What paranormal?
Matrix Paranormal.
Matrix Paranormal.
Vaughn Hunter. That's Vaughn. She's a brilliant lady. She does it herself as well, but she does put a lot of work and effort into everything she does. But no, I tell you, there are people that are just interested in the money, and I mean, I've watched. We've started a network. Andy Murphy and Charlie Knott's Paranormal and GWPS.
No, you.
UK GWPS. It's Andy and Kirsty Murphy. They're originally from Yorkshire, but they're over in Antelope Valley now. Andy's over there for work for 3 years. He keeps changing the names in his group. He can't just have a simple name. He keeps changing the letters, and he's added US or USA on. I was talking to him last night, actually. He keeps adding letters on, so I always get mixed up. But we started a network, the Paranormal Collective Network, it's called. And before I said, thanks, Scott, you don't have to give me a mention. No, not at all, no. We'll mention anybody, as long as they're good. If they're bad, they get booted. Simple. But we started this network up just for genuine teams. It's nothing fancy. I know you get different networks that say, come with us, you'll get 5,000 views per show and, etc. I'm not dissing all the networks, but there are kind of a wee handful out there that we don't promise anything.
Yeah.
You get 2 views, you might get 2,000 views. We promise bugger all, as we say in the UK. But we decided we just get fed up with all the BS and the people trying to be, the next Zach Baggins or whatever. So we're going to create a group just for genuine groups, teams, individuals who just want to come on, share their experiences, maybe put up some pictures, do some lives if they want. Just generally be normal in the paranormal.
Yeah, normal paranormal. Normal paranormal.
No.
I'm gonna write that down.
No.
You know what I mean? But I mean, there's one network that they started off as a group, but now they've turned themselves into a limited company, and they're charging people, to go on their shows.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I actually, on the flip side of that, I had asked somebody to come on. I'm not going to mention the name only because he is very big in the field, but I'll say he's along the lines of the TV personalities, you know what I mean, and if Jason Halls comes on the day before Thanksgiving and gives me an hour and 20 minutes of his time for free, and as have all my guests, you know what I mean? They came on, they never asked me. And I reached out to this one person and I said, hey, will you come on? And he said, oh yeah, I'll hook you up with my agent. She'll let you know how much it costs. Thanks. No, I'm doing this. I have a little studio room. I'm not big time. This isn't what I do for a living. I don't have money to pay anybody, so but that's the first time that's ever happened. And the last time, because nobody else has ever said that to me, so, I mean, I get they got to make a living and maybe that's in their contract and that's what they got to do and this and that, but then I can't have you on, so.
We've been really, really fortunate so far. And as you say, if you get a big name and it will, contact me agent. I mean, names drop me again. I'll use Patty Negri as an example. She is major, Hollywood.
Oh yeah.
Does everything. And a lot of magazines kind of struggle to get maybe half an hour with her. And, she's been on her, she's coming back on this month actually, but there was 1 week, it was coming up and I had 2 shows lined up and I mailed her. I says, look, Patty, what's the chances of getting you on the Monday and the Wednesday? And she says, I'll get back. And she came back and says, that's fine, no problem.
Yeah.
So
See,
she
isn't that awesome? Yeah.
on the Monday, and before she left, she says, I'll see you on Wednesday. I said,
That's
that's
awesome.
fine. You
Yeah.
know, and she was back on the Wednesday for I can't remember what the shows were for, but I needed her for 2 shows. And you think, you know, they don't ask for money, they don't, you know, promote me everywhere, and they just come on, they do their thing, they talk to you, whatever, and then that's it, job done.
Yeah.
And that's what it's
Absolutely.
about. You know,
Absolutely. And here's the thing, and that's the thing. Like, I honestly, I don't pay attention, and maybe I should. I don't. And there's probably a lot of people out there that have shows and do this and that do, like, my two two other owners are BB3 TV. They're all about the numbers. They're all about, they do like the mathematical stuff. Whereas me, I'm like, I could care. There could be nobody watching, but eventually somebody will see it, and somebody will watch it, and somebody will learn from it, or somebody will feel better about a situation that they're in, or somebody will reach out and say, thanks for doing that show, because I didn't see it live, but I watched it now. I mean, it's out there, so your shows are out there then, and it doesn't matter to me. It's not numbers of, it's people will always watch it. You always get at least one view, there's never a show, and that's enough for me,
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with, I mean, I have an apparition photo hanging up in a store in Gettysburg that I took. I out of all the years of my investigating, I have 2 photographs. 2. I've taken millions of photographs over the course of 15 years of locations, including Gettysburg. I mean, I have thousands of pictures. I go at least twice a month. I have thousands of pictures of Gettysburg, and I have 2 photographs over the years, and one's hanging up, and everybody's like, "Oh, do you get paid? Did they pay you for that?" And I'm like, "No." I said, "That's all the reward. It's hanging up on a very credible person. It's very respected in the field. He has it hanging up in his store. Like, to me, that's all that's all the money I need. So
it's no about I mean, there are a lot of people here that are obsessed, I want followers, I want views, but it's not about that. We've done shows and we've maybe had 3 views. But as you say, Tara, the option, the show's always there. So if somebody wants 2 months' time down the line, wants to go and watch it, then it's there for them. I mean, I like to see. We used to have a public page, and we're like 2,500 followers, but with troll issues and stuff. So we decided to go private, maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, something like that. Maybe a couple of months ago. I lose track of time, to be honest.
That was about 2 months ago.
About 2 months ago.
That's quite
And I like to see the numbers going up for one simple reason, that it shows me and our team that we're doing stuff that people are enjoying.
yeah,
People want to see, because we also cover history as well. And, and so it's amazing the amount of people. I mean, I met, we were away camping at the weekend there, and people in the next tent days, and we were just talking, just general chit. And there was just, I love it, Paranormal. What's the name of your channel? What's the name of your group? And so, she joined us. But it lets me see that, well, we're doing stuff that people are enjoying, we're enjoying, and they're enjoying.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's more about, we'll never state anything is paranormal. I prefer, maybe we get, for example, a picture, a photograph that we can't explain. We'll put it up on the page and say, right, this is what we caught. We don't know what it is. What do you think? And
people are going to have their opinions. Some of them are going to, sometimes people can be, and that's the other thing too. Like, having paranormal in history, having Paranormal Brew, and you have people that I get people send me pictures. People will, and then you have all the ghost groups, that you're, you follow, and people put up pictures, and some of the comments are just horrible. Like, you don't have to be. You can explain something to somebody in a nice way because they believe that they captured something. You can't take that away from someone. Like, they believe that. So there's a nice way to put everything, because I used to be one of those people. I used to be one of those people that I'd look at my photos and I thought I saw a face in every single tree, and I thought I saw a face in an orb. I believed in orbs at one point. You know what I mean? So I was one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
As we do, that photo, was it a plant pot or a vase or?
We took a photo a couple of years ago now, and it was a Greyfriars Kirk in Edinburgh, and the only way I can describe it is it looked like an old man, like a wizard, pointy hat, beard, but we were looking, that's an old man. I put in this group that we were part of, and this guy came back to me. He took the photograph apart and he said, listen, it's a plant pot. And he sent me the photograph back. He'd cleaned it. I don't know what he'd done with it. He cleaned it right up. He says, there's your photo. That's what it's a plant pot. And that was fair enough, but we were sort of, well, that's an old man, that's a wizard or whatever. And it turned out to be a plant pot.
And the thing is like, you can, I would appreciate that. You can appreciate that, that, you can say, okay, that's fine, but there's people that just look to go into these groups just to everything and just tear people down and and not, take your personal experiences as well. You could be a skeptic all you want, and you can sit there and give me an explanation for every little thing that I experienced, but you weren't there. Not you, meaning if somebody's critiquing, you weren't there, and I get why they do it, because there's so many people out there that do fake stuff, but at the same time, there's ways to tell people, stuff. I remember when I was with my group, we would do lectures, and we would always have that one in the crowd, that would raise their hand and say, okay, prove to me ghosts exist. Wow. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't prove that. I can't prove that. Nobody can prove that. Mm. But I have more evidence that they do exist that you have that they don't.
Mm-hmm.
So,
totally correct. I can't prove that ghosts don't exist, but I have stuff that you can listen to and give me your opinion and see what you think, and that sometimes can change your mind. But you're always going to get caught. We've got you're always going to get the comments. We've got a TikTok page, channel, whatever you call it. I don't know. Page. And I do all the TikToks, and I done one, and there's no kind of, some of them have got a kind of special meaning, but like TikTok, I enjoy doing them because I put photographs together and play music over it. And we get one comment one day, what's the point of this?
Yeah. What's the point of this, kids?
What's the point of this, kids? And I comment, I said, well, there isn't a point. It's just an investigation we've done. It's photographs for an investigation we've done. I put them together. We don't really have a point.
If you're asking what the point is, obviously you're on the wrong page.
Yeah.
As soon as I read the comment, I said, what's the point to this? Well, how do you answer that? There's no point. I enjoy doing the TikToks, and it's just letting people see, a wee slideshow of photographs, but a wee bit of music in the background.
Yeah, and I had somebody too. I not just paranormal, but I every morning I put up an American flag and I say, "Good morning, America," because it's not a secret over here. The United States is totally just kind of all over the place right now with everybody and how they feel about everything. Everybody's so but I for 4 years now, every day I put up an American flag and I say, "Good morning, America." That's my thing. I'm a very patriotic person. I love our military. I love our police. I support. I don't like the current administration. I will say that. That can just poo-poo go away. But as far as our military goes, our police, and things of that nature, I'm a huge supporter. And and every social media account I get, I do that. So I'll put it up on Instagram. I put it up on my Facebook. I started putting it up on TikTok. You can't put a picture up on TikTok without music. Yeah. And I didn't want this big laughy thing, So I replace that with like maybe the Star Spangled Banner being sang by somebody, like Whitney Houston or, somebody big, and somebody commented. He said, well, this is, I forget how it was worded. It said, this isn't normal, but okay. So I'm thinking what they meant was your parent is, my TikTok's Paranormal Brew. So I guess they're thinking coming on there, it's going to be nothing but paranormal stuff. But I said to him, it might not be normal to you, but it is to me. This is my every morning.
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, it's not, we do podcasts. Why? Because we like to talk to people. We could talk for hours, right? We could talk for hours about it.
Yeah.
You get to know people. So my pages aren't just only going to be paranormal. I mean, it's going to be mostly that, but every once in a while, I'll put something up, pray for Ukraine. I'll put stuff up that's not just paranormal, and share with people, because you get to know the people that are on your pages, come on your shows. You share one big, huge passion. So why not get to know them in other ways too?
Yeah.
But that's it. At the end of the day, we're all normal to a certain extent. We're all human beings. Like I say, TikTok, we do paranormal and we do history, but there are some videos I'll put in just because I feel like it. I done one the other day. It was, I don't know if you've heard the George Ezra song. George Ezra song. What does that mean? George, you say it.
George Ezra's new song.
Aye. Green, green grass, blue, blue skies. So I had photographs I'd taken, when it was sunny and whatever, when we were away. And I thought, I'm just going to put them together. And I'll put George, that song over it. Nothing to do with paranormal or history. Right. I'm going to throw that together and stick it on, which I did, and it got quite a few likes. And as you say, Taryn, it's something different. We've got maybe, as you say, the majority is history, paranormal, but there is, maybe a dozen or so, because we've been doing TikTok for maybe about a year now. And there is maybe about a dozen in there that have got nothing to do with what we do. It's just, yourself, you got one morning, you might have a wee thought in your head, you think, a wee TikTok video, and
absolutely. And the thing is you're not doing anything negative. It's positive. So why would somebody go out of their way? And it's people like that. You're just like, you really don't want to waste any time on it. You're just like, fine. You're like a negative person and you're trying to, this is very positive. My page is positive. Your pages are positive, just don't be this little negative Nancy coming on there and trying to, why?
If you don't like it, scroll by.
Yes, exactly.
Go somewhere else. But
like I said, and I will say, I don't agree with people faking stuff. That's one thing that I don't. I definitely agree with, if those people that come on our pages and they want to, critique and be, negative Nancy's, they need to go on those fake YouTubers and give them that energy, because that's who needs it, not us, If
you're going to fake it, don't do it. I mean, as soon as you fake the slightest little thing,
that's it.
If you've been running your group, whatever, for maybe 2-3 years, as soon as you fake, whether it's a cat ball going off, I don't know how you would do it, but, the smallest thing, as soon as you fake that, you might as well just put it on in the trash. Because everything you've worked for, your reputation, the network you've built up, your friends, everything, it's gone.
I'm not quite sure where that doesn't go into a thought process at some point prior to doing that. For me, that has always been my credibility and my integrity. I might be wrong sometimes and I'll admit it, but I'll never fake anything ever.
It is good if you are wrong that you admit it, because it lets people see, well, they made the mistake, they put their hands up, they got it wrong or whatever, and it lets people see that you are genuine. It shows that you are more genuine. But as soon as you fake this, where's a K2 going on, you think, no, You know, it's
That's it.
gone.
That's it.
Everything you do in the future, people are going, well, he faked that K2.
But even in the past, I mean, even anything they've done in the past, you go back, you go back and go, how can we believe anything?
It just trashes your whole whatever reputation.
Bless
And, it's no fair on the people that are taking the time to support you, to watch you, follow you, and it's no fair on your team. If you've got it's no fair in all your guests, everybody. It's just a big kick in the face for them.
It's what we came back to earlier, which is a lot of people do speak it for financial gain, and that's
financial gain.
Yep, always comes back to that
financial gain, and then they, a lot of this stuff, and I'm just going to use them as an example. Ghost Adventures. Okay, we see how they're dramatic and everything is so exaggerated, during a show, and they've been successful, very successful. How I don't know, but they're successful, and I think a lot of people see that exaggeration, that this is happening, and they think that all this stuff is happening within seconds of each other, and so
there's no.
They're like, this is, and they see, how successful that is. They're making money, so this is what I got to do. I'm going to make money. It literally comes down to money. You make money off.
Money, say, in these channels that ask for donations and blah blah blah. Just so I'll probably short down for us, but it's something we're quite strict about. Sarah and I have been for day one. We'll never ask anybody to, give us money or fund our channel or
Right.
whatever. The bottom line is, if you can't afford to do it, don't do it.
Right. And I agree. And I say all the time, like, I've never solicited. I've never asked anybody. I've never, I'm doing my own thing. It's, where the heck was I going to go with this? Because you said something and I was like, absolutely, I agree with it, that, if it's a true passion, even if you can make money, it's never going to be about money. It's never going to be about the money, because that's what changes you. So, but if it's a true passion, even if you are making money, you're not going to change and risk your credibility or your integrity and stuff like that, because what you're doing is still a part of your passion. When you don't have that true passion and heart into it and what you're doing, you don't care about integrity. You don't care about credibility. You care about your bank account, and that's it.
But when the money comes in and the passion goes, that's time to hang up your jacket.
Yeah.
Basically, But I think we'll wind up. I know you're working shortly, Tam. I don't want to hold you back, get ready for work. I think we'll wind it up there. But I want to can I hold on to you for just a wee second or two after we come off?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I want to get you on for a Taryn part 2, because we talk to you all night. But we'll wind up there. So I'll keep a hold of you for a few seconds after we come off on it. So that's us. Big. Blah. Sometimes you try to speak and it just does not happen for you.
Yes.
Massive thanks to Taryn for Paranormal Brew. Give her a look up.
Thank you, everybody.
As you can see, an amazing, interesting, genuine lady.
Yep.
Thanks to Laura for joining us on.
Yes, thank you. It was nice meeting both of you. It was very nice. This is awesome.
Well, that's a good. See, that as we've said, the thing about podcasts is meeting people, genuine, down to earth, normal people. If there is such a thing, normal. I use that word with cautious. Normal.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We do, but we'll wind up there tonight, folks. We are back tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, with Lanarkshire Paranormal. And so again, big thanks to Tam. Give her a wee look up, and we will be getting her back very, very soon, probably in a couple of weeks' time, because he's really interesting. And we'll get loads more to talk about. Do you want to say anything on it before we go?
No.
Talk about Tam, I'll give you the last word. Where can everybody find you?
What's wrong?
Where can everybody find you?
Oh, so yeah, so Paranormal Brew is on Facebook, YouTube, and on BB3 TV as well. BB3 TV also is Facebook and YouTube. Um, and uh, I started the Paranormal Organization Research Network, which that's just basically just going to be eventually just networking. So if I were to get something where you guys are at, I would say, hey, can I give this to you guys? Because I'm not ever going to make it there that I know of. Who knows?
Right.
Maybe one day. But, so I started that. And also because writing Paranormal Brew at the bottom of a questionnaire for client really doesn't sound very professional. So Paranormal Organization Research and Network, I just created that. That's brand new. But Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Paranormal Brew.
All the usual haunts, pardon the pun.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
so we'll bid you good night there. Enjoy the rest of your Monday
evening.
Monday evening, Monday afternoon, wherever you are. Enjoy the rest of your day.
It's 2:15. So 2:15.
We're at 7:15 here, so exactly 5 hours apart. So massive thanks again. I was going to call you Karen there.
Hey, Karen's a bad thing here.
That was nearly the last word. You nearly messed that up. But I was doing really well. I'm proud of myself.
Tonight.
I'd give myself a pat in the back, but more sunburn, so I'm not going to bother. So take care, folks, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.